My dying mother guilt tripped me into funding my sister's lavish wedding, only to discover it was all a lie. Hey Reddit, so I'm Ethan, 30, and I'm pretty sure I'm the biggest idiot on the planet right now. I've always been the responsible one in my family, always there to pick up the slack. My mom, Darlene, is a master manipulator, and my sister, Brianna, let's just say she's never met a free ride she didn't like. Mom always favored Brianna, making me feel like I could never measure up, no matter how hard I tried. It all started a few months ago with a phone call. Sobbing, Mom told me she had stage IV pancreatic cancer. 6 months. Her biggest regret, not seeing Brianna get married. Of course, I was devastated. I offered to help with the wedding, thinking small, intimate. But no, it had to be huge. Brianna's last chance for happiness, apparently, and Mom made sure I knew it was my responsibility to make that happen. The costs started spiraling, and every time I tried to talk about it, I got hit with the guilt trip. Am I a monster for questioning my dying mother? This whole thing has been a nightmare. I'm starting to think something isn't right. Something really isn't right. Should I even say what I overheard the other day? Okay, so here's the thing. I was at my apartment, stressed out of my mind about the wedding bills piling up. My credit card was maxed out, I drained my savings, and Brianna was still demanding more. I decided to swing by Mom's to drop off some paperwork she needed, thinking maybe, just maybe, I could talk some sense into her. I knocked, but no answer. The door was unlocked, so I called out, "Mom, it's me, Ethan." And that's when I heard it, coming from the back patio. Mom's voice, clear as day, laughing. Not the weak, pained breaths I'd been hearing on the phone for weeks, but full-on belly laughs. And Brianna chiming in. "He's so gullible, Mom, he's actually buying this whole dying wish thing." My blood ran cold. I felt like I was going to be sick. Nausea, a racing heart, the whole 9 yards. I tiptoed closer, peeking through the sliding glass door. They were lounging by the pool, sipping margaritas. Margaritas. My dying mother was drinking margaritas. And then, the words that shattered my world. "That trip to Italy after the wedding is going to be amazing," Brianna said, flipping through a travel brochure. "Can you believe Ethan is actually paying for all of this?" Mom let out another laugh. "He's such a sweet, dumb puppy, he'd do anything for his little sister's happiness." I stumbled back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a sob. It felt like someone had punched me in the gut. The entire thing was a lie. The cancer, the dying wish, the guilt trips, all of it. They were using me, manipulating me, laughing at me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront them right then and there, but I was frozen. My own mother, my own sister, how could they? I just stood there numb, trying to process the sheer betrayal of it all. It felt like my whole world had just imploded. I finally snapped. I couldn't just stand there and let them continue this charade. I marched onto the patio, my hands shaking. "What the hell is going on here?" I demanded, my voice trembling with rage. Mom choked on her margarita, sputtering, "Ethan, what are you doing here? We thought you were at work." Her eyes darted nervously to Brianna, who just stared at me, wide-eyed like a deer caught in headlights. "Work?" I scoffed. "You mean slaving away to pay for this farce of a wedding, this trip to Italy?" I practically screamed, throwing the travel brochure at their feet. Mom started to cry. Classic Darlene. "Ethan, honey, you misunderstood." "Misunderstood," I roared. "I heard you. I heard you laughing about how gullible I am, about how I'd do anything for Brianna's happiness." My chest was tight and I struggled to breathe. Brianna finally found her voice and it was dripping with venom. "You're being dramatic, Ethan, it's just a little joke, don't be such a tightwad." A little joke, a little joke. My entire financial future was being drained for a little joke. I felt like I was losing my mind. A joke. "You think this is funny? I'm drowning in debt because of this joke." "Oh, stop being so melodramatic," Mom chimed in, dabbing at her dry eyes with a perfectly manicured finger. "It's Brianna's wedding, it's supposed to be special, and you, as her older brother, should be happy to help." That's when it hit me. This wasn't normal. This level of manipulation, the gaslighting, the complete disregard for my feelings, this was toxic. "Happy to help? I'm bankrupting myself. And for what? So you two can jet off to Italy on my dime." "We weren't going to tell you about the trip yet," Brianna whined like I was the one in the wrong. "We wanted it to be a surprise." "A surprise? Are you kidding me?" My vision started to blur and I felt dizzy. I stumbled back, grabbing onto a patio chair for support. "The cancer," I choked out, the 6 months. Mom sighed dramatically. "It's complicated, it's not as serious as we initially thought, but we didn't want to ruin Brianna's special day." Not as serious, not as serious. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. This was beyond messed up. "You lied," I whispered, my voice hollow. "You lied to me." It was a white lie, Ethan, Mom said, her voice dripping with condescension. For Brianna, for her happiness. Can't you understand that? No, no, I couldn't. And in that moment, something inside me broke. I knew with absolute certainty that this was not a normal family. This was a battlefield and I was the casualty. A week later, and things have gone from bad to nuclear. I thought confronting them would at least bring some sort of resolution, some semblance of sanity to this insane situation. I was wrong, dead wrong. First, they went into full damage control mode. Mom called all of our relatives, spinning this sob story about how I was unstable and jealous of Brianna's happiness. Apparently, I'm now the villain of the family. Aunt Susan called me, crying about how I was breaking my mother's heart during her difficult time. Difficult time? She's fine. She's sipping margaritas by the pool while I'm having panic attacks over my bank account. Then, Brianna took it to social media. She posted this long, dramatic status about how her heartbroken family was being torn apart by her selfish brother who was trying to ruin her wedding. Ruin her wedding? They lied about having cancer to fund it. The comments section is a dumpster fire. People I barely know are calling me a monster. My reputation is shredded. But the worst part? The threats. Yesterday, I got a call from Uncle Tony, my mom's brother. Well, let's just say he's not exactly known for his level-headedness. Ethan, he growled into the phone, you better apologize to your mother and sister. Family is everything. You don't want to mess with family, understand? It wasn't a question, it was a threat. I'm seriously considering getting a restraining order. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can barely function. I'm a wreck. Work is a blur. I keep expecting to get fired because I can't focus on anything. My friends are trying to be supportive, but they just don't get it. How could they? This is some next-level crazy. This morning, I woke up to a text from Brianna. Just so you know, Mom is really upset. She's not doing well. This whole thing is stressing her out and it's all your fault. All my fault. I'm actually starting to question my own sanity. Is this real life? Am I trapped in some twisted reality TV show? I'm starting to realize I need to take drastic action. This isn't going to go away on its own. They're not going to magically see the light and apologize. They're doubling down. I need to protect myself. I need to get out of this toxic mess. I'm just not sure how yet. Any advice, Reddit? I'm desperate. So after that whole explosion at my mom's place, I was a wreck. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, barely functioning. I knew I needed to talk to someone, anyone who wasn't caught up in this crazy family drama. So I called Chloe, my best friend. She's a financial advisor, super level-headed, and doesn't take crap from anyone. I was hesitant at first, you know. It's embarrassing admitting your own family is screwing you over. But I spilled everything. The fake cancer, the lavish wedding, the Italy trip, the whole 9 yards. I even told her about the threats from Uncle Tony. She was silent for a second, which with Chloe is like an eternity. Then she just goes, Ethan, are you serious? They faked cancer. I know, right? I said. It sounds insane even to me. This is beyond messed up, she said, her voice tight. This isn't just family drama, Ethan. This is straight-up abuse. Emotional and financial abuse. Abuse. That word hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd never thought of it that way. I always just chalked it up to family being family, you know, but Chloe, she saw it for what it was. They're manipulating you, she continued. They're using your guilt and your sense of responsibility to control you, and it's not okay. Hearing her say that, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. The constant guilt trips, the subtle jabs, the way they always made me feel like I wasn't good enough, it was all manipulation. What do? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I felt so lost, so powerless. First, Chloe said firmly, you need to protect yourself financially. Stop paying for the wedding. Cut them off. I know it sounds harsh, but you need to prioritize your own well-being. But what if Mom really is sick? I asked, the doubt creeping back in. What if I'm wrong? Ethan, Chloe said gently, you heard them, you saw them, trust your gut. And even if, by some miracle, she is sick, enabling their behavior isn't helping anyone. It's just perpetuating the cycle of abuse. That was a huge turning point for me. Chloe's words, her unwavering support, it gave me the strength I needed to finally start setting boundaries. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't alone in this crazy mess. I had someone in my corner, someone who saw the truth, and that made all the difference. I finally felt like I could breathe again. Like maybe, just maybe, I could get out of this. Okay, Reddit, buckle up, because this is where it gets really insane. After talking to Chloe, I felt a sliver of hope. Like maybe I could actually claw my way out of this mess. I started gathering all the financial documents, every single bill, every Venmo transaction, every credit card statement related to this goddamn wedding. I was building my case, ready to confront them with cold, hard facts. I even started practicing what I was going to say. I wanted to be calm, collected, not give them the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart. I needed to be strong, for me. Then came the final straw, the big one. The moment that completely obliterated any lingering doubt or guilt I had. Brianna's final wedding dress fitting. Upscale boutique in downtown Austin. Champagne flutes, fluffy white dresses, the whole 9 yards. I was supposed to be there for moral support. Moral support. They were draining my bank account dry, and I was supposed to offer moral support. The irony was thick. I almost didn't go, I was dreading it, but Chloe convinced me. "This is your chance," she said. "Confront them, show them you're not playing their game anymore." So I went. And thank God I did. I walked in, plastered a fake smile on my face, and sat in the plush velvet chair they'd designated for me. Brianna was preening in front of the three-way mirror, a vision in white lace and tulle. Mom was fussing over her, gushing about how beautiful she looked. It was sickeningly sweet, nauseating even. Then Mom turned to me, her smile vanishing. "Ethan," she said, her voice dripping with fake concern, "are you okay? You look pale." Pale? I was about to throw up. "I'm fine," I said, my voice tight. "You've been so distant lately," she continued, her eyes narrowing. "Is something bothering you?" "Oh, I don't know, Mom," I said, my voice starting to rise. "Maybe it's the crippling debt I'm in thanks to this charade of a wedding. Maybe it's the fact that I'm being financially ruined so you and Brianna can live out some twisted fantasy." Brianna spun around, her face contorted in rage. "What the hell are you talking about?" "Oh, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about," I said, pulling out the meticulously organized stack of financial documents. "Here's a breakdown of every penny I've spent on this wedding, every single penny." I slapped the papers down on the table, the sound echoing through the quiet boutique. Mom's eyes widened. Brianna's jaw dropped. "I know about the Italy trip," I continued, my voice shaking with anger. "I know about the fake cancer, I know about the lies." The color drained from Mom's face. "Ethan, please," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Don't Ethan please me," I snapped. "You lied to me, you manipulated me, you used my love and loyalty against me. And for what? For this." I gestured around the opulent boutique, at the expensive champagne flutes, at Brianna's designer wedding dress. Brianna started to cry. Crocodile tears, I was sure of it. "You're ruining my wedding," she wailed. "Ruining your wedding," I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "You ruined my life, you and Mom both." And that's when it happened. The final earth-shattering blow. Mom, in a moment of sheer, unadulterated cruelty, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Well, Ethan, maybe if you weren't such a disappointment, we wouldn't have to resort to these measures." A disappointment. That word, that single word, was the final straw. It was like a punch to the gut, a dagger to the heart. Everything inside me snapped. The years of guilt, the years of trying to earn their love and approval, the years of being the responsible one, it all came crashing down. In that moment, something shifted inside me. The fear, the doubt, the guilt, it all evaporated. I was no longer the victim. I was done. "You're right, Mom," I said, my voice calm and steady, the eye of the storm. "I am a disappointment. I'm a disappointment to myself for letting you treat me like this for so long." I took a deep breath, feeling a sense of power I'd never experienced before. "I'm done. I'm done with the lies, the manipulation, the abuse. I'm cutting you both out of my life." And with that, I turned and walked out of the boutique, leaving them standing there, speechless in their cloud of tulle and lies. I didn't look back. I knew with absolute certainty that I was finally free. And it felt amazing. Now I just need to figure out how to uninvite myself from this wedding and maybe change my phone number. Wish me luck, Reddit. So after that nuclear explosion at the dress fitting, I knew I had to be smart. They weren't going to just roll over and accept that I was done being their personal ATM. I expected all-out war. I needed a plan, and I needed it fast. First, I went straight to Chloe. She's a financial advisor, remember? She helped me figure out exactly how much I'd spent on this ridiculous wedding. It was way more than I initially thought. We're talking 5 figures, people. 5. FIGURES. She helped me compile all the documentation, bank statements, credit card bills, Venmo transactions, everything. I scanned it all, multiple copies, and stored them securely online. Paranoid? Maybe, but better safe than sorry. Chloe also put me in touch with a lawyer just in case things got really ugly. Legal advice, people. It's important. Next, I needed to protect myself from the inevitable smear campaign. I knew Darlene and Brianna would try to paint me as the villain, the crazy one, the one who was ruining everything. So I started documenting everything. Every text, every email, every voicemail. Screenshots, people, screenshots are your friend. I even started keeping a journal, detailing every interaction, every conversation, every threat. I needed a record, proof that I wasn't the one losing my mind. Then I started thinking strategically about the confrontation. I knew I couldn't just barge in and yell at them. That would only play into their narrative. I needed to be calm, collected, and in control. I practiced what I was going to say over and over again until it was second nature. I even role-played with Chloe, which, let me tell you, was awkward as hell but so helpful. Practice makes perfect, people. I needed to be prepared for any scenario. I also knew I needed support. I reached out to a few close friends, the ones who knew my family and had seen their manipulative tactics firsthand. They rallied around me, offering emotional support, practical advice, and even a place to crash if things got really bad. Having a support system is crucial. It's easy to feel isolated and crazy when you're dealing with this kind of toxicity, but knowing I had people who believed me, who had my back, it made all the difference. Finally, and this is probably the most important part, I started working on my mental and emotional fortitude. This whole ordeal had taken a toll on me. I was anxious, stressed, and constantly second-guessing myself. I started meditating, going for runs, and doing anything I could to clear my head and stay grounded. Self-care is not selfish, people. It's essential. I knew I needed to be strong both mentally and emotionally to withstand the inevitable onslaught of guilt, manipulation, and gaslighting. I was ready. I was prepared. I was done being their puppet. Bring on the confrontation. The air in the upscale bridal boutique hung thick with the cloying scent of expensive perfume and the hushed murmur of consultants. Brianna, draped in ivory lace, stood preening in front of a three-way mirror, a fragile princess in her carefully constructed fairy tale. Darlene, hovering nearby, adjusted a stray tendril of Brianna's hair, her face a mask of maternal adoration. I stood off to the side, a manila envelope clutched in my hand, the weight of its contents pressing down on me like a physical burden. This was it. Showtime. Brianna, darling, you look absolutely radiant, Darlene cooed, her voice dripping with saccharine sweetness. She turned to me, her smile faltering slightly. Ethan, dear, are you all right? You look a little tense. Tense? I echoed, a dry laugh escaping my lips. I'm just peachy, Mom, especially considering I'm about to drop a truth bomb that's going to obliterate this whole charade. Brianna's head snapped around, her eyes narrowing. What are you talking about? Oh, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, I replied, my voice calm and steady. I held up the manila envelope. I have something for you both, a little souvenir of this memorable occasion. I placed the envelope on the small table beside them, the crisp thud of the paper against the polished wood echoing in the sudden silence. Darlene and Brianna exchanged nervous glances. What is this? Darlene asked, her voice laced with suspicion. It's a detailed accounting of every single penny I've spent on this wedding, I said, my voice rising slightly. Every single one. I opened the envelope and spread the contents across the table. Bank statements, credit card bills, Venmo transactions, all meticulously organized and highlighted. 5 figures, Mom. That's how much you and Brianna have conned me out of. The blood drained from Darlene's face. Brianna's jaw dropped. The consultants, sensing the shift in atmosphere, discreetly retreated to the back of the store. Ethan, please, Darlene whispered, her voice trembling. There's been a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I scoffed. You faked cancer, Mom. You lied about your prognosis. You and Brianna concocted this elaborate scheme to guilt-trip me into funding this obscenity. It wasn't like that, Brianna stammered, tears welling in her eyes. Oh, really? I countered, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Then explain the Italy trip. The one you and Mom were planning to take after the wedding on my dime. Darlene's eyes darted nervously to Brianna. We were going to tell you. Sure you were, I said, rolling my eyes. Right after you drained my bank account dry. The dam finally broke. Brianna burst into tears, wailing about how I was ruining her wedding. Darlene, resorting to her usual tactic, started to cry as well, muttering about how hurt she was by my accusations. But this time their tears didn't work. I was immune. Enough, I roared, silencing their theatrics. I'm done with the lies, the manipulation, the guilt trips. I'm done. The power shifted in that moment. The fear and doubt that had plagued me for so long vanished, replaced by a surge of righteous anger and a steely resolve. I was no longer their puppet. I was pulling the strings. Darlene and Brianna stared at me, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. The carefully constructed facade they had maintained for so long crumbled before my eyes. They had underestimated me. They had thought they could control me forever. They were wrong. I'm not paying for another cent of this wedding, I stated firmly. And I'm cutting you both out of my life. With that, I turned and walked out of the boutique, leaving them standing there, speechless, amidst the ruins of their carefully crafted fantasy. The weight on my chest lifted, replaced by a sense of liberation I had never experienced before. I was free, finally free, and it felt glorious. It's been 6 months since the great bridal boutique blow up, and wow, has life changed. The immediate aftermath was messy, to say the least. Darlene and Brianna went full scorched earth. More smear campaigns, more guilt trips, sent through relatives, of course, the whole 9 yards. They even tried to claim I was mentally unstable and had misinterpreted their conversations. Mentally unstable. Projection much, the wedding. Oh, it happened, scaled down significantly. No destination wedding, no fancy venue, no open bar. From what I heard, it was a potluck affair in Darlene's backyard. Karma, baby, I obviously wasn't invited, and honestly, best wedding gift ever. The fallout with my family, still fractured. I went low contact with Darlene and Brianna. I blocked their numbers, filtered their emails, and unfollowed them on social media. Digital detox, people, it's a lifesaver. Aunt Susan still calls occasionally, leaving tearful voicemails about how I'm breaking my mother's heart. I haven't returned a single one. Sometimes you have to protect your peace, even if it means disappointing well-meaning but clueless relatives. But here's the thing, Reddit. Cutting them out was the best thing I've ever done. It was like lifting a massive weight off my shoulders. The constant anxiety, the guilt, the feeling of being trapped, it all started to fade away. I finally had the space to breathe, to think, to just be. I started therapy, which has been huge. It's helped me process the trauma, understand the dynamics of my toxic family, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Therapy is not a sign of weakness, people. It's a sign of strength. It's helped me realize that their behavior was not my fault, and that I deserve to be treated with respect. And the best part? I'm rebuilding my life. I'm focusing on my career, my friendships, and my own happiness. I'm no longer pouring all my energy into a bottomless pit of family drama. I'm investing in myself, and it feels amazing. There are still challenges, of course. The financial hit was rough, and I'm still working on paying off the debt. But I'm doing it on my own terms, without the added pressure of their manipulation. I also still get twinges of guilt sometimes, especially when Aunt Susan calls. But I remind myself that I'm not responsible for their happiness, only my own. Boundaries are healthy, people. Repeat that until it sinks in. This whole experience has been a huge learning curve. I've learned that family doesn't always mean unconditional love, that setting boundaries is essential for self-preservation, and that sometimes, walking away is the bravest thing you can do. So Reddit, has anyone else dealt with a toxic family situation like this? How did you handle it? Any advice for navigating the guilt and the fallout? I'd love to hear your stories and any tips you might have.